Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Movement Academy owner Robert Kuhlman will host the show as he introduces new ways to stay in shape. The Movement Hour, every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
High schoolers, unleash your creativity and learn about potential careers in broadcasting at the Digital Expressions Media Camp. Have fun, make friends, and get hands-on experience with video and radio production June 9th through the 14th at the University of Nebraska at Kearney. Scholarships are available from the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and spots are limited. Learn more at digitalexpressionscamp.com. That's digitalexpressionscamp.com.
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit, update your info with LES, and if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
Old School with DP and J.
Nebraska and their staff, football-wise, have done a really good job of, keeping guys, happy. And then obviously they see the opportunity here. Whereas I don't think there's a general reason that you can say, okay, this is why kids are going in the portal. Now we're seeing, even when they're in really good situations for them, they still leave.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NEBCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome into a Monday edition of On the Block. I'm Austin Norman. To my left, man of the people, E. Stricky. Stricky, baby. What a weekend. What a weekend.
Yeah. All the way around, hadn't heard any news about losses, but there's been definitely losses of, properties and businesses and stuff of that nature. So that did happen over the weekend. Shout out to the first responders who definitely were active over that period of time as well, not just in Lincoln, up Lincoln. Also, while I was in Omaha, it was crazy. I wasn't able to go the normal way that I went to get home. I had to kind of go the back way, went, kind of through the Wahoo area and just kind of the back way. But then, traffic even was there, and it did hit in Elkhorn where I live, but just not in my area. So, but I did get to see just some of the crazy damage, and it's wild how just powerful those things are. But in the meantime, in between time, shout out to the Huskers, who I think put on a tremendous show for their spring game. Great turnout, over 60,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
So that was beautiful over the weekend as well. And then the rain tried to keep going, but then the sun pops out and it's a beautiful day today. So we're grateful.
That we are. We're grateful for everything you mentioned. And for you, listeners, I'm sure there are plenty of you that have helped out, chipped in with recovery efforts. If you still feel moved or feel moved to help with the recovery efforts, not just here in Elkhorn, Bennington, Gretna, that area, but also Waverly, I think, got hit pretty hard. And then even across the border in Iowa, you can text Red Cross, all caps, no space, to 90999 to give $10 to the American Red Cross and help your neighbors out, right? Nebraska Strong, come together. We've rallied before. You guys have done it before. But let's do it again. Huge devastation off the field. But Strick, that's again why I think sports are so nice sometimes, is that they can then bring people together, even in these times of hurting and pain, and really rally around sources of joy. And Strick, I don't want to jump the gun or anything, but I think one of those sources of joy is going to be Dylan Raiola. He looked the part on Saturday.
Yeah, he definitely looked the part. He looked like he belonged. He looked very poised. He looked like he had great command. So those are things that, I think there are things that are positive and fun to watch. And it's good to see early. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's good stuff.
Text line, we want your thoughts here as well. What stood out to you, either positive or negative, from the Nebraska football spring game? You can let us know, 402-464-5685. That is our Starter Heyman text line. Or if you are on stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, Starter Heyman also sponsors our live video stream, so leave a comment there, and a big thanks to Allo for sponsoring Channel 961. The other two quarterbacks here, strictly, I think we're going to spend some time talking about Heinrich Haarberg and Daniel Kalen. Let's start with Haarberg. The mechanics looked better, generally speaking, right, with a clean pocket. The arm was typically up. The base wasn't quite as wide. But the few times there were pressure, the mechanics got out of whack. He forced a couple throws into some traffic, including one into triple coverage. So no, it wasn't a perfect day from Heinrich Haarberg, but I think you can tell that there is legitimate improvement out of him over just one offseason with, a full offseason of work with a guy like Glenn Thomas.
I mean, I don't know. I just, that was one of the things for me last year. How you would see him week to week, but there would be no progression. It would be a lot of the same stuff happening. So, to me, you've seen the progression, you've seen the growth, and that's what I've been wanting to see pretty much throughout this time anyway.
Yeah. The throw for the touchdown that he had, 41-yarder, I believe it was, pretty nice. It threw it with the wind at his back. And I mentioned this when I was on with Adam Carricker. I don't know if it's supposed to go back shoulder. We didn't see really any back shoulder throws from Heinrich Haarberg. And Strick, we know not just the college level, but even the NFL level, being able to put a ball on a guy's back shoulder. So either it's a catch low and away from the defender, or you get a pass interference call if the defender runs through your wide receiver. That's a big boy throw. That's a big level throw. Again, I don't know if the pass was supposed to lead the wide receiver into the end zone or if Haarberg tried to put it on that front pylon. Either way, it worked out. It was a nice ball, and I think that was pretty nice. You mentioned Daniel Kalen looked like he struggled a little bit. I thought he looked according to where I thought he would be, right? We haven't heard as much about him throughout spring ball. We know he doesn't have the college starting experience of a Heinrich Haarberg or the pedigree of Dylan Raiola. I wasn't discouraged by what I saw from Daniel Kalen. The interception he threw, he probably knows better than that, right? Staring a guy down over the middle in a scramble situation doesn't end well. Even his misses weren't wildly off target. They were the right throw, just, maybe it was just a little bit off. His arm was up or down just a little bit. I thought Daniel Kalen was actually around the target, even on his incompletions. So I don't want to say he looked bad. I just think the other guys looked better.
Yeah. I'm not going to say that. I mean, I just think that, I would say, I just think that he looked like he was quick on some things, not the same poise that I think the others had. You know what I mean?
3994 says nervous. Do you think that's part of it?
Probably. Yeah. I think there's still some things he's working on. I think he's still working on his body. I think there's things he's still working on, but I'm not disappointed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did think it was cool to hear Dylan Raiola after the game talk about his experience with the tunnel walk. And it's going to take some getting used to. They're coming from the northeast corner now from the new facility, not from the northwest corner like they have for a really long time. But Dylan Raiola said it's everything he dreamed it would be, right? He blacked out. He started to have some tears welling up in his eyes. So I was always a little skeptical on he always wanted to be here. Oh, it means that much, because Dylan Raiola didn't grow up around Nebraska, right? His connection is his dad. But when you hear stuff like he blacked out and it was everything he dreamed it would be, maybe I'm just a sucker, maybe I'm a sap, but that was encouraging to hear, that maybe Dylan Raiola didn't just take the best deal. Maybe Nebraska does mean something to him. And if there is adversity, he's going to stick it out because he has that emotional kind of tie and experience in just even the spring game.
That's what I saw. I just saw, it's only going to get better, because I saw complete command. I saw just a great understanding of what he wanted to accomplish and what he wanted to do. So, yeah, I liked it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. We will keep talking about this. Keep giving us your thoughts here on the text line 402-464-5685. When we get back, we will go over your thoughts. We'll talk about some skill position players as well. Good day from the wide receivers. A couple running backs showed some interesting things. This is On the Block, brought to you by Nebco. Nebco's operations span the state of Nebraska, north to south, east to west, and they supply the construction industry with the materials needed to construct buildings, streets, and highways. They've been doing it since 1908. They're a fourth-generation family-owned and operated business with over 1,200 employees and 26 companies throughout Nebraska. If you're interested in learning more, want to be a part of the Nebco team, you can visit nebcoinc.com. He's Strick. I'm Austin. This is On the Block, brought to you by Nebco. When we get back, your thoughts on our text line. Keep sending them in throughout the break. We'll see what you have to say about the Nebraska spring game next.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models, from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln. Always honest answers.
It's the Elway Power Sports Customer Expo, May 10th and 11th. There will be giveaways and free food, half-price tires, and factory rebates as large as $2,500. Used inventory price to sell, parts and accessory specials too. Register for the John Elway football giveaway and get a chance in the money machine with a new vehicle purchase. Factory and aftermarket reps will be on site for the event. The Customer Expo at Elway Power Sports, May 10th and 11th, just south of I-80 on 27th Street. Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Do you need your event or venue secured? Call Tank Security Team. Tank Security Team is Lincoln's #1 non-lethal security company. Tank Security Team offers first-class security with efficient and quicker response times. Hire Tank Security Team. No hassle, no headaches. Call Tank at 402-310-3589 and get secured today.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and our annual spring sales event is now underway. We have absolutely huge savings right now at Coppell. New Sierras and new Silverados have a double whammy. Choose from APR starting at 1.9% or discounts over $9,000. Yes, that's right, 1.9% APR or discounts of over $9,000. So please take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street just south of the interstate, or check us out online at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
The end of the school year is drawing near, which means graduation parties are coming soon. Are you prepared for that if you're hosting? Fierce Cheese Spread is the dip that brings everyone together to celebrate graduations and to close out a great school year. And it goes well with crackers, meats, soups, and more. How could you throw a party without it? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Fuhrer's cheese spread. No graduation party is complete without it.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first.
At Doane University, your future is uniquely yours, and our world-class liberal arts education is just the beginning.
We invite you to schedule your campus visit and experience why Doane University will start you on your journey to your future career.
Learn more by scheduling your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit. See you soon.
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit, update your info with LES, and if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
Do you need motivation to get to the gym on the weekend or even in general? Tune into the Movement Hour each Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Movement Academy owner Robert Kuhlman will host the show as he introduces new ways to stay in shape. The Movement Hour every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Our starter human text line is open for business, 402-464-5685. Lots of stuff here to get through. Let's just go chronologically here. Justin, wide receivers were impressive, then factor in Malachi. Yeah, Strick, I think Nebraska went 5-6 deep at receiver. I think Ja'Cory Barney, the freshman, was maybe the biggest story. Naor had a couple catches and that long touchdown that was called back by 2 penalties on the offense. Jalen Lloyd had the long touchdown. Again, Jamal Banks played some snaps. But I think in Demetrius Bell, even before he went down, you saw flashes. That and the Bly Hill injury are probably the only major negatives to take away from Saturday's game. But Strick, this looks like a deep, versatile group of wide receivers, different body types, different abilities. And as Justin said as well, that didn't even include Malachi Coleman, who hasn't really been a participant this spring coming back from injury. I think there's legitimate reason to be excited about what Nebraska is doing at the wide receiver position.
Well, I think so. I think it also it's going to be imperative for them to just recruit on campus. Mm-hmm. And I think at one point, if I remember correctly, he had thrown to like 15 different.
I think of his first 15 completions, it was to 13 different receivers.
Yeah, 15. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, but it's good, to be able to spread it around. If you want to throw it like that, you're going to have somebody that's going to be able to read and make the throw. That's what I loved about it, is he was able to read what was being thrown at him and make the correct throws. But then placement wasn't inside when it should have been low and outside. He threw it where he needed to throw it. And he didn't seem to have that little extra weight in the pocket, which allowed the pocket to collapse on him, as some of the other quarterbacks did in a couple times. Not often, but he was able to evade and get in without any, touches, and he kept his head downfield. Those are just veteran stuff that you don't see too often out of a freshman. Just he was making veteran type displays of just the command at the quarterback position that you've got to love and appreciate. This is why I think recruiting the quarterback position is going to be so important to keep a Daniel Kalen, to find more Harburg types, because you want to make sure you're back. Because if he breaks out and breaks through, he's not staying the long term.
No,
if he's able to have breakout here, I just don't see it. Now, you want to make sure that you're teaching him and training him in the methods that can help him next level, so that he wants to stay. Then you want to have success, so that you want to build. So for me, if you're able to go, and I looked at the schedule, it's not unattainable. If you go 8-6, no, not 8-6,
8-4 in the regular season.
I think it's possible that this team can go 8-4. I think it's possible. 7-5.
Yeah,
I think any of those are possible, and then you build off of that. Continue to fill in what areas. I personally think the defense needs probably, and we didn't get to see everybody, but I would say at this point, I think offense is pretty good. I think the offensive line, you always want to continue, but I think they've got more depth on the offensive line than I think they would on the defensive side of things.
I'm with you on that. I didn't see anything stand out from the offensive line or the defensive line, and I think that's good. I think it's a stalemate. I think the offensive line blocked pretty well. Defensive line did collapse a few pockets. It was a back and forth battle, and I'm with you. I think that's probably the way it needed to go. Two things that we didn't really see from the wide receiver group that I think are going to bear monitoring into the fall. Number one, Nebraska defensively didn't play any press coverage, right? Matt Rule has said, dating back to last year, they need to get better at that. So we didn't see Nebraska get jammed up at the line and have the receivers get in and out of breaks, right? If they face some resistance at the line of scrimmage, will they improve enough to make it matter in the fall? That's going to be a big thing. And then Jamal Banks played a fair number of snaps, but didn't record a catch. That's the bigger body in the wide receiver room. I'm a little disappointed he didn't have a catch. Maybe that's a function of the plays that were called, or maybe when he was open, that's when the pocket broke down and he didn't get it. But that's a guy Matt Rule has said is going to be an impact player for them. It's one thing to be a great leader, and that's good, since it sounds like he's come in and integrated himself seamlessly into the locker room, went about his business, handled it all the right way. But that's a different type of body in that receiver room, a more possession style, big target that I think Nebraska is going to need. So to see him not have a catch, that's slightly concerning to me. So hopefully it's just a blip on the radar.
Yeah, I mean, these, like you say, these games are just designed to get some feel, some tape, some competition outside of what you're just doing at practice. So I'm not over my thoughts on it, or not going crazy right now about it. I would say I want to just continue to get through the summer. Now they're going to see who's going to be there, who's not, who feels there's an opportunity. You're probably going to lose some.
You're going to have to.
You're going to have to. I mean, that's a given. And I personally think there's going to be some in the receiver room. There's just not enough. There's not enough space.
No,
it's just not. And I think some of the veterans that are there, probably redshirt a couple of the younger ones that probably aren't ready yet. But I think that room is still too full.
Probably fair, but even dating back to last year, Nebraska needed depth, right?
Yeah.
And that to me, Strick, is why I liked the stat that you threw out about the 15 completions to 13 receivers. That's why I like the quarterbacks rotating through the teams. You don't know who's going to be available.
Yeah.
After the first week, if a guy goes down with a knee injury or gets banged up in week 6, right before a bye week, or even in November, someone goes down late. We saw Nebraska's receivers especially Coleman and Lloyd, right, weren't necessarily supposed to play last year, got thrown in because of emergencies, because of injuries. I love that Nebraska rotated the quarterbacks that consistently, not just on a quarter-by-quarter basis, but series by series, to build that rapport, to build that chemistry, to give the quarterbacks different looks, to give the receivers different looks. I think that can only help Nebraska in the long run. Hopefully, of course, there are no more injuries outside of those to Bell and Blyhill on the defensive end, but it's football. We know something's going to pop up. So for there to be even just some sort of familiarity between every quarterback and every receiver, I think that could be a huge benefit for Nebraska in the long run.
Yeah, I think the way that they did it was very wise. Very, it doesn't put anybody, have anybody feeling that they've arrived and they've already got it or it's sold up. I think it gives everybody a chance to feel as if they're working with the best of what we have on campus. I think that's pretty cool.
Thunder Not Collins, few good things here. He says Rico and Austin are the only two people in that studio who can legitimately say that they don't take vacations. I did take one last summer, so I will cop to that. How about a verticals passing game, period? Matt Rule said he thinks this has the opportunity to be a good 4 verticals team. He mentioned the catch and run by Nate Borkature was on a 4 verticals concept. And that, to me, Strick, is why Nebraska goes and gets speed, right? To test the top of the defense. If you can take the corners and the safeties out of the picture and then get a mismatch on a linebacker, get your tight end to run behind him, guess what? Everyone else is 20 yards down the field. There's some catch and run there for a tight end. This offense, I think, is going to be predicated on space and speed. And having a vertical passing game will open things up for the run game. Having a run game will open things up for the vertical passing game. It's all going to work together. We'll just have to see which element comes along first.
Yeah. One thing they also said is outside, you're going to have some of that some variables and some different types of creativity in the offensive scheme, depending on who's out there, right? Because Kalen and yes, Raiola's capable, but they're not run pass option type guys, right? No. They're run pass option to something, because you saw a couple of those, fake rides, get it out to a tight end, get it on a slant. You saw a couple of those things, which is good. But then Harburg is a little bit different. Like you can literally run different types of stuff. Like you can have a series or a set or a time frame to run different stuff, to give just different. And I was talking to Adam Carricker when he was in town for the spring game. I was talking to him. I was like, that was one of the things that was most frustrating about last year, is just the lack of creativity, getting, and he understood, because being on the defensive side, it's different having to get up, hold, be disciplined, and to make sure there's, no one coming back. It's easy to dive down that line when you see to try to make a play, but then all of a sudden something's coming out the other side, which you should have been there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think we gave a lot of teams those type of looks where they had to, it was read, react, get into a gap, read, react, flow. And it was easy flow. There was nothing misdirection that would get them to say, oh, snap, tight end's out this way, that's my guy. There was nothing that had guys going one way and then something going the other way. And I thought that was kind of frustrating.
I'm with you on that. Big Daddy Travis, never drink the Kool-Aid, must see results on the field. Correct. And if we didn't mention this before, it bears repeating. Obviously, you take everything we saw with a grain of salt. It was 1s versus 2s. It was 2s versus 3s, some mixing and matching going on. But I think everything that we're talking about here, Strick, isn't just results based, right? I think the process looked better. It looked smoother. It looked cleaner, more consistently, regardless of who was at the helm. And here's the thing. Speed plays. It doesn't matter who you're outrunning. If you can outrun someone, you can outrun someone. Sure, it might be by a step and a half instead of 2 or 3 steps, but speed was on display. I think you saw even Dowdell's long touchdown run. Okay, maybe he doesn't score a touchdown on that play in the regular season, but he saw the cut. He saw the angle. He saw the lane. He got to the sideline. You saw a little bit of a burst of speed. Emmett Johnson's 10-yard run was nice. Borkacher found the open spot over the middle. Keelan Smith was good, who, like Al's saying there. Jalen Lloyd had that catch along the sideline, maybe a more complete receiver than last year. Yes, the result doesn't necessarily matter as much in the spring game, but I think just even the little things, you can see that incremental improvement in new elements to Nebraska football that you didn't see last year.
I don't even need to tell you. That's the way I feel. I would say that we're not drinking Kool-Aid. I definitely am not doing that. Especially with just what I'm looking at. I'm just looking at growth. I'm looking at things that are measurable, that can translate. Because if you're doing this in practice, and people always talk practice, yes,
we talking about
practice, repetition, in doing these types of things and duplicating them, they carry over, right? He's not going to go into the summer and do some old crazy stuff to just change himself up. Most guys aren't. You know what I mean? They're going to either they're going to see what they did, what they need to improve on. If it's press break, if it's whatever, they're going to come back with more of that. The only thing this does is kind of solidifies depth chart stuff.
Sure.
Just kind of puts guys in a little bit of notice of where they are. And then you have conversations with the coach. What are the expectations? What do I need to do better? What am I lacking? Well, I think you need to put on a little bit of muscle here. I think your leverage is a little bit. I think you're a little bit high. You know what I mean? Hand placements are bad. You're going to get this now. You're going to get this and be able to see. I think in the trenches, something that scares me is some of the guys were getting kind of blown out of holes and gaps, especially on the defense side. If I remember correctly, it looked like Judy, some of these guys are not staunch in that middle like you hope them to be, right? Some of them were getting moved. There was some, and I'm okay with, stalemates, but I don't want just a lot of this movement, because it was looking like there were some 4 and 5 yard gains, and it wasn't because of anything specific, or it wasn't trap, it wasn't a wham block, it wasn't nothing that you can see that, okay, I can see why this. It was just basically
you lost mano to mano.
They moved you, and that's what I'm hoping. That's why I'm saying I think more depth on that side, on that defensive side, is definitely needed, because you want to be able to rotate without drop off.
Right. We saw that pretty consistently from Nebraska's defense last year. Let's see it again. Replicate that depth. A few more things to get to here before we go to break and tell you about a Nebraska men's basketball transfer target here. 3181. Does Dylan Raiola drop the ball too far on normal throws when it comes to his windup? I'm no quarterbacks coach, but Strick, it's not a long loopy motion by any means. It's not like John Elway, AD's quarterback, right by the ear hole all the time, but it's not like he brings it all the way down and around, right? It maybe is a little low to start, but some of that's a comfort thing, right? Like every pitcher starts their windup in a different way, but what matters is when it's time to throw, where's the foot? How square is he? Where's the arm? Where's the elbow?
Exactly. And a lot of his stuff was coming out low, which is good. But
not sidearm low.
Not sidearm low. Just, and they were on tight spirals. And the ones that he had to throw that you're like, oh, it's overthrown because it's bad mechanic. No, they were overthrown on purpose. There were like, there was one corner route, I think. It was either a corner or it was a wheel route that left the receiver going towards the pylon, and he throws it high because there was a defensive player in front, one safety coming over. He throws it high. Either he's going to catch it or it's going to go out of bounds. It's not at risk to interceptions. Right. And it was the same thing in the back of the end zone. Those were planned, and I like that because that shows maturity as far as quarterback. And even Rule, I think he was up in the box. He had mentioned that, you know, that's and a couple of the catches were just on a dime. They dropped them right in there for a touchdown. So yeah, I mean, it's solid.
Yeah, even the throwaways were impressive, right?
Yeah.
Where no one's going to catch it, but on the off chance someone does, it's going to be a receiver.
Yeah.
And no one else. Tommy, this spring game left me genuinely optimistic. Almost every position group has multiple players that look starter quality. The biggest challenge this year is going to be getting over the mental obstacle. That's fair. Okay, I like that from Tommy. We mentioned Neil Smith's son. Keelan Smith looked pretty good. Aaron says there weren't a lot of drops by receivers, which was good to see.
Yeah.
The only one that stands out to me was Bonner in the flat on a pass from Kalen. Looked maybe just a little softer than he was expected. But yeah, I thought the receivers had a really good day on the aggregate.
I agree. I think they caught the balls that were in their areas, and even the ones that weren't. I thought they did a good job with their hands.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Big Daddy Travis points out no Ty Robinson, no Nash Hutmaker or Isaac Gifford on defense. Yeah, those guys would absolutely make a difference.
Yeah. That's why I'm talking about depth. That's why I'm not talking about them. I didn't mention them. I'm talking about depth.
Yeah.
Because you don't want them to have to play full games. You don't want drop off.
Mm-hmm.
Now you may have to do some things to shore that up when they're not in, you know what I mean? But that means maybe some blitzing or some different things like that. You don't want to have to do that if you don't want to. I think Nebraska at its best, when their defense was the best, was when you could rush 4 and still get pressure. Or you had Ndamukong Suh that was so dominant that he was in guys' face causing problems before, very Aaron Donald-ish in college, right? So if you can do that, then the versatility kicks in, because then you don't know when it's coming. Because if I can get there with 4, that means you're going to have to double team. That means if I throw something at you, then can you pick it up? Or if I throw enough in a specific gap, are you able to see it and recognize it quick enough? But then it leaves me one-on-one with the guys. So that's a game that you play, but I'm telling you, the better they are at getting pressure without having to bring guys, and we've seen when they had to do it in the past, it cost them games.
Because the corners just couldn't hold up on an island all the time.
And even if you're doing it, you're not getting there. Like, you need to be getting there so that these cornerbacks are not left out there for extra space.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you need to at least be getting there within a time frame, so they're not just able to sit back there and be like, oh, just break in. Oh, there you are. And still be able to hit you.
Right.
So yeah, that's been a problem for Nebraska in the past.
Let's keep talking defense and special teams in hour 2. I think there's a lot to get to in the return game. Tristan Alvano went only 1 for 3, some game management stuff as well. Last question, though, for the hour, Strick. Big Daddy Travis ends us off by saying, Double H, Heinrich Haarberg looks more improved in his throwing abilities this season. Yes, Heinrich, when he spoke to the media, said it's been a focus for him, like it needed to be. But also Heinrich Haarberg admits that the biggest test is when the bullets are flying in the middle of the fire, right? Because I still think you saw some reversion in those couple moments that there was some pressure in his face. So how do the mechanics hold up, even when it's live action? But here's the question, Strick, through 48 minutes of game time, who gets the start game 1 at quarterback based on what you saw?
I mean, to be honest, I'm going to say Raiola right now.
Raiola.
And I, like I'm saying, I still think you use Heinrich Haarberg's versatility is, I think you put him in there, let him run some. Do some run. I think you could do like run pass, some RPOs, but then some RPO passes with Haarberg. Like, he takes it and then he could step off and still throw. Like, I mean, there's so many creative things you can do, but I think you let him run. He's a tremendous running. He's powerful. He looked like he's lost some weight. He looked like he slimmed down a little bit. But I'm telling you, man, I would have him all over the place. And when he's playing quarterback, cool. I mean, when he's not, I'm still using him. I'm still using him. Like, there's all types of stuff I would be doing with him, tricks, and not that you're trying to be gimmicky, but I'm just saying, there's things you can do.
I'm with you. I was glad to see Heinrich Haarberg got the first snap of the game. right, for the offense as the upperclassman. I think he's earned that right. Sounds like he's worked hard on it. I'm glad he got the first snap. And this is probably going to have to be a longer segment tomorrow. But for as good as Dylan Raiola looked, I think we need to talk about the job that Matt Rule and his staff did and not letting the hype get out of proportion for Dylan Raiola, throughout all of spring ball. Because, yes, Nebraska fans are excited, but there hasn't been a lot of savior talk. I think that excitement picked up yesterday. And I think Matt Rule and his staff have done a good job of insulating the building, insulating their young quarterback, letting him be able to focus on it.
Yeah.
But I really think the hype train left the station yesterday. We'll tell you about a Nebraska men's basketball transfer target when we get back to wrap up hour one. We'll talk special teams, we'll talk defense, and plenty more in hour two of On the Block before a recruiting conversation with Brian Munson. Don't go anywhere. Back with you after this.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just the professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends. For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives. Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Ready to add a dash of Southern flavor to your week? At Wings and Rings, their brand new Southern fried wings have arrived for a limited time. Indulge in the irresistible goodness of large, traditional bone-in wings coated in a crispy beer batter and fried to perfection. Try them with hot honey or any other sauces. And for those busy summer days coming up, look no further than their Southern Fried Wings Family Bundle. Wings and Rings, 2 Lincoln locations on O Street or Village Lane.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska or online in your own home. Learn pottery or floral design. Take a computer course, learn Spanish, how to start writing a book, or Air Fryer 101. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit. Update your info with LES. And if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
One final segment here in hour one of the show. You're not rid of us at 3, though. This is On the Block, brought to you by Nebco. 2 to 4 weekdays, 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Austin Norman, Erick Strickland. Been talking a lot of football. Obviously, had the Nebraska football spring game, and we will keep talking football in hour 2. But, Strick, the spring game isn't just a place for Husker football to recruit. Husker basketball had a visitor in, I guess it was yesterday, so he missed the spring game. Braxton Mia. This is a Power 6 transfer, Power 5 now with the dissolution of the Pac-12, out of the program of Washington. He was a former Washington Husky, 7-footer, 230, 240 pounds. He was on a visit yesterday and through today. So Nebraska is still looking to shore up some holes in the roster. Obviously, there's no sure things. Obviously, we've heard a lot of guys connected to Nebraska that haven't come to fruition. This is, I think, a need to get. We talked about Noah Boyd last week. I think if you have the chance to get Braxton Mia, you're okay letting Noah Boyd go. Yeah, I know he was committed to Baylor at one point, but Mia has that Power 5 experience. He's a little bit more refined than I think Boyd is. I think he could step in from day one and be a difference maker for this program.
Yeah, what he has is he has great timing. He has great awareness. His footwork is pretty good, and he leverages up. So, like, he's one of those guys that can take contact but not get moved. He doesn't get, like, just bodied. So he's got good hips, understands positioning, when to go vertical, when not. Like, not going to handle the ball tremendously well. Like, he's one of those guys that's going to roll to spot. If you feed him right, he will finish, whether with the dunk or go up. A
lot of dunks.
Yeah,
a
lot of dunks. Like, he's not super skilled with handle, but he's physical and he knows where to get to and how to get there, and will put bodies on guys. So he does a lot of things that are good. It's just a matter of whether or not, you know what? You know who I can say he's like?
Who's he like?
He's like Rudy Gobert.
Oh.
Smaller version.
Okay.
But he's like...
he's 7'1", 250 is what I'm seeing him listed at now.
But he's like he's like Rudy Gobert. You know, I think you know how he rolls well, he gets to the right spot, and Rudy will finish. He can do his thing. And then on defense, he's very he's pretty much around, always around. And this is where he is as well. I like them going after him, big fella.
I do too. From the highlights I watched and what little Washington I watched this year as well, seems like he's pretty good timing, not just, at the rim defensively, but sealing, right? He knows the right moment to whip that leg around and get the seal. He's pretty good trailing, right? As soon as his man turns his head, boom, he explodes on his cut from the top of the key. Got a lot of dunks that way. Pretty good putback timing. And this isn't a run stopper, guy you go to with his back to the basket.
Right.
And I think Nebraska could do some more pick and roll, and I think that's where he would thrive. Not necessarily a well-rounded player, but I think what he does at a very high level and would add a different element to Nebraska.
And on misses, like, watch your head. He gonna go. He's around, and he's physical enough that you just can't put a little guy on him.
No,
just think that's gonna be okay. There's so to me, him would be a 2 levels to Alec. For me.
Okay.
Like I think Job had potential to be a level up. I think he's 2 levels because of all parts of his game that he brings different elements to his game and the size and the physicality, and as well as already being available. High-low actions with rank mass would be absolutely phenomenal. Duck ends. So you get other elements. And then, just like I say, anything off of that free flow offense, he rolls. Like, he rolls hard. So, if you have good point guard play, if you have, good motion style offense, he's capable.
And the reason a good roll man every time with a hard roll is so important, Stricky, is either someone's got to tag him and that leaves a shooter open, or you throw it up to the rim and hey, there's 2 points because no one rolled over. So averaged 5-5 last year, averages 5-5 basically for his career. Started out at Fresno State before transferring to Washington, Pac-12 all defensive team. So we will
That's what
definitely,
you need.
Right. We'll definitely keep our ear to the ground when it comes to Braxton Mia, 7'1", 250-pound center, who's wrapping up his visit to Nebraska today. We'll take a break. More spring game headlines. Let's talk a little defense. Let's talk a little special teams, a mixed bag there. 6 false start penalties, is that concerning or just jitters? Lots more to get to for our thoughts here on the spring game. And then, of course, our man at 3:30 on Mondays, Brian Munson of Husker Online. Big recruiting weekend. We'll get his thoughts on what he saw and what he heard from this weekend in Hour 2 of On the Block.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, I'm Senator Bo Ballard. I was born and raised in Lancaster County, learning the value of hard work and grit at a young age. I built my own company, creating jobs right here in our community. I know that families and businesses in our community need lower taxes, lower cost of healthcare, and a great education. That's why, as your senator, I helped pass the largest tax cut and made the most significant investment in education in Nebraska history and worked to reduce the cost of healthcare. I'm Senator Bo Ballard, and I humbly ask for your vote on May 14th. Paid for by Ballard for Nebraska.
Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for our 12th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Buckle up and hang on. This is going to be a good one.
The fans of Kansas Speedway know how to have a good time. One that celebrates fantastic finishes and family-friendly facilities. Trading paint.
We got feuding
and tailgating tradition. Burnouts, beer, and barbecue. Oh, it'll for sure be a good time, and you are all invited. NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, May 4th and 5th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career, or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Ready to add a dash of Southern flavor to your week? At Wings and Rings, their brand new Southern fried wings have arrived for a limited time. Indulge in the irresistible goodness of large, traditional bone-in wings coated in a crispy beer batter and fried to perfection. Try them with hot honey or any other sauces. And for those busy summer days coming up, look no further than their Southern Fried Wings Family Bundle. Wings and Rings, 2 Lincoln locations on O Street or Village Lane.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete, Husker concrete, and Beatrice concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for three. And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by Nebco. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
We're back on the block. Strick here. It's the second hour of On the Block. It is Monday. We thank you guys for tuning in, checking in. It's been heavy. Nebraska basketball, football, spring game has been heavy on that today, and we're going to continue on with it. We're going to take a little more thought and consideration of the defensive side of things. And when you think about the defensive side of things, is there something with this that you have concern with? Maybe some of the bigger names not playing, that they want to see more from some of the other guys? You already know kind of what you're getting from those guys. Was there some issues with game management? But we'll start with just your initial thoughts regarding the defense and what you saw or what you need to see and didn't see.
Yeah, so I'm not worried about the defense. I mean, 25-21 isn't a shootout necessarily, but I still think the offense won the day. I think pretty clearly the offense won the day. I'm not concerned about the defense because, Strick, we know we have a year's worth of intel that this defense is disguised on mixing and matching personnel, mixing and matching looks, about confusion. You're not going to put that on TV for opponents to record DVR and go through. So I think it was vanilla. I think you're down some big playmakers. And then even with the injury to Bly Hill, there's another potential starter down, not just not playing. So I'm not concerned that there weren't a lot of splash plays from the defense. I think Nation was in the right spot at the right time, right, for the interception there off of Raiola. The one that Kalen threw, nice break on the ball by Mason Jones. But I put those more on the quarterbacks than anything that the defense did necessarily.
Well, even the Raiola ones kind of went through his hands. It was kind of there, slightly back. But if you're a receiver, that's what we talked about. You got to make that play. I mean,
yeah,
it's just unfortunate. It goes through his hands. That's tip drill. That's tip drill 101 right there.
Mm-hmm.
If a ball comes at you, you do not want it going through your hands, over your hands, reaching for it so it gets tipped. You just want to kind of either make the play or hope that it just goes through, and it's not that. And I think that's more Raiola's. I think you're right. I think the other situation with Kalen was just a great break.
Really good break.
Great break.
Bad read. Kind of telegraphed it there. So I'm not really all that concerned about the defense. I think we'll see more, especially Tommy Hill got a series and that was it. What I am curious to see is, does Malcolm Hartzog now move back to corner? Because we heard from Evan Cooper last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever he was at the podium, saying that Malcolm Hartzog has been practicing all spring at safety. Not a big dude, 5'9", 5'10", I think he's listed at 5'8", 5'9", which is fine. You can get away with it. We saw teams pick on him a little bit last year. He made it work as a freshman, up and down as a sophomore, but Evan Cooper said that's because he was going back and forth between safety and corner, never really got settled.
Yeah.
Well, their plan for him this year was apparently to just stick at safety. I'm curious if that's still going to be the plan, because Nation had that interception, didn't necessarily flash. Mario Buford, Dwight Boodle are both freshmen. Does a guy like Jeremiah Charles, finally show up, right? We've heard so much about him. Do we finally get to see him in live game action as a defensive back? Sincere, who wears number 44. They're really high on him and his traits and his potential. There's an open corner spot right now. You look at the length, you look at the experience that Blyhill had. You were excited about him filling that role. And I hope that Nebraska resists the urge to keep ping-ponging Malcolm Hartzog back and forth. You've seen the talent that young man has, a little bit of a nose for the ball too. If you're playing for him with safety, throw him at safety and take your lumps with young guys, right? Let them learn and grow through, because that's what Malcolm Hartzog did. And I think he came out the other side better for it.
Yeah, I think you're right to assess that. I like Malcolm Hartzog, to be honest. I think the less you can, or the more you can minimize a lot of just the extra thinking, Yes, there's guys that have great versatility and can do a lot of different things. But I think more than ever in this time when you're really trying to break through, you're trying to get to a whole nother level. I think you want to hone in on what guys do best, where they're best suited, where they're best fit. Let them thrive there before trying to put them in a lot of different other situations.
Right. A Derwin James, a Minka Fitzpatrick, a Jesse Bates, guys like that. There's a reason they're the top safeties in the NFL, because they can do so many different things. If you're not one of those guys and it's your second or third year in college, there's no shame in that. But the coaches have to understand that. Keep pushing them to maybe develop into that. But I still think that's maybe more the role of the rover, the Isaac Gifford, the Javen Wright position, more so than Malcolm Hartzog. Yes, positional versatility is good to have and develop, but that's an off-season thing, right? And okay, now over the summer, maybe he can get some work at both safety and corner. But when he comes back to fall camp, Malcolm Hartzog has to have a position.
Locked in on something. So now let's kind of shift the discussion a little bit and move it into this direction. What did you feel about the management of the game, how things went? Were there situations like in a 2-minute drill or anything that they didn't execute, they could have done better? Is there something in a decision that was made that, I saw them going for it a lot, and I'm okay with that, in this situation, especially when you're on the other side of the ball. Because one of the management areas that I heard Rule wanted to get to, and he referenced Iowa and the success of Iowa and why they have success, is their ability to shift the field position. Their ability, and I thought Nebraska did this in a couple of instances, had a few mistakes as far as false starts, and these things still crept in. But when they got behind chains, or they had a situation where they were, I think, maybe on the 4 or 5 maybe yard line due to a penalty, but Raiola was able to take them out, shift the field position, and I think they even missed the field goal or something on that. But those are good. Those are good. Those are positive. But the mistakes got to continue to be minimum. And some of them were stupid. It was just not getting snap count. And you have this. This is the time to do it if you're going to do it.
Right. So that drive you mentioned started about halfway through the second quarter. The white team was backed up to its own 6-yard line, had the false start penalty on Davon Hall, backed them up to the 3. And then it took basically the remaining time off the clock. I think there were 48 seconds left for the red team then for that next drive, where you drove down, you got into field goal range, and you chewed up half of that quarter, which would be about 40% of a 15-minute quarter to do it. You probably should have had the ball last in terms of any meaningful snaps. That drive was pretty well executed because they dug themselves out of that hole. They found a way to move the chains, convert, and not even really let it get to third down all that often. Just the one third down attempt that they got 12 yards. They needed 13. They then convert on 4th and 1, which, again, fans won't be happy about. They ran out of the shotgun, right? They didn't go under center for it. They tried to go under center earlier in the game on 4th down. Not everyone was set. Preventable mistake, but also easily coachable. Like, hey, go fast, but don't be in a hurry. Don't be in a rush. Ja'Cory Barney also had a false start penalty. He saw someone across the line jump. He said, oh, that's my cue to go. Make contact with him, then okay, yeah, it's offsides. But as a wide receiver, his guy wasn't playing press coverage, so there was no reason for him to jump like that. So 3 false starts from wide receivers, 3 from offensive linemen. Not great, but it should be correctable, just learning the rules. What I'm talking about when it comes to game management, though, is after that drive that you mentioned, starting at the 6-yard line, 3-yard line, they drive down to field goal range. Right after that, the red team got the ball back. Daniel Kalen was at the helm. First play of the drive with 48 seconds to go, hit Isaiah Nayor on a crossing route. Picked up 12 yards on it. He came from the near sideline by the press box to the far sideline. I think it took, 10, 12 seconds off the clock, something like that. But he got out of bounds. Okay, good job. That you used your speed. You got there. You got the first down. Next play. Well, Strick, 2 plays in a row, Kalen went to the middle of the field, which team had all 3 timeouts left. Use one there. I don't care if it's a practice. I don't care if it's a scrimmage. You don't get a first down, so the clock doesn't stop. I think there were 11 or 12 seconds that came off the clock that Nebraska could have used a timeout for. I don't know where rule was. I don't know if it was a Satterfield thing or a Glenn Thomas thing, whoever it was. But in a moment like that, I want Daniel Kalen calling timeout, right? Show that you have mastery of time, score, situation. Because yes, it is the coach's job, right? Head coach should be by the official. As soon as you don't get the first down, hey, quick timeout, reset, think about the next play. And Nebraska ends up picking up the first down. But again, it cost them 11, 12 seconds they could have had because they end up getting down to the 26-yard line for the 43-yard field goal. But if you use a timeout there and you have those extra 11, 12 seconds, either you make it a closer field goal or you give yourself at least 1, if not 2 more cracks at the end zone.
Yeah.
And okay, it's a scrimmage. I get it, but it's a scrimmage. You have a chance to work on this situation with a young quarterback who has a lot to prove. Put him through the situation the way you would run it in a game.
No doubt.
Give him the most game-like, realistic opportunity. Prove that you've learned from last year as a coaching staff. Like, hey, we know there are times we didn't call a timeout when we probably should have or we could have and saved some time. Or, hey, our guy went out of bounds here when he should have stayed inbounds. You have the chance to work on it. Prove that you have the ability to do it right in a scrimmage. So when the lights come on and it's a real game, you have that foundation. Yeah, you have the foundation to fall back on. Because we can say, and I still believe Nebraska's skill positions are better this year, deeper this year than they were last year. Still not a top 25 most talented roster in the country, I wouldn't think. If you're not going to be one of the handful of most talented teams in the country, it's on the coaches to not only maximize that talent in player development, but put that talent in the best position to succeed. And that's saving every second for a young quarterback who might need every second. It's getting closer because your field goal kicking is still shaky, right? Alvano went 1 for 3.
Shaky.
He went 1 of 3.
And one of them was like a duck hook. Like it felt like a golf swing that Nick had when he was out in Arizona.
Seriously. So if you know these things about your team and you're not calling a timeout there and you're letting 10 seconds go to waste, that's on the coaches. That's not putting their talent in the best position to succeed. And I'm a little worried about that again this year. Like, why wasn't it worked on in the spring game when they had the chance to do it?
Great point there. Let's take one thought about the special teams. Is that an area that is going to be worrisome at this specific time, or is it something that you need to go back out there and maybe add to see if there need to be a super competition in that area? Because I think you don't want to lose close games this year. You don't want to be on that side of the coin that both Frost and Rule experienced last year, and you want to be able to feel confident about the decision-making process when it comes to special teams.
You need to be able to feel confident about that. If they go out and identify a kicker in the transfer portal for more competition, I'm all for it. Bring competition in. I'm not going to say Alvano doesn't have it or that he's a lost cause, but he clearly hasn't figured everything out. It's still a little shaky. Go get a kicker for at least competition. I was encouraged by the return game, though. You had that kickoff return that Barney broke. I'm going to give him credit for a touchdown on that. They won't be wearing similar colored jerseys in a game.
Yeah, because he was looking at him like, hey, wait, what are you doing?
What? Yeah.
What are you doing, man? Hey, we're on the same thing. He went to the business like, what's going on?
He'll learn from that. He should know better. And the unfortunate part is if he runs that one all the way back, maybe Demetrius Bell doesn't get hurt because it happened on that next series right after that. But I liked the cut. I liked the vision. I liked the acceleration from Barney on that. Buccini's one punt of the day, I believe, was a 46-yard punt. He's got to be more consistent, Stricky. This is a guy that came back for that express reason, to get more consistent, to be closer to 42, 43 yards per punt instead of 40 yards per punt. 46 was fine. I think Jacob Hull had the other punt. Only 31 yards. So if Buccini's going to kick it 43 to 46 yards every time, that's a step in the right directions. Kickoffs, I think, went fine. I don't know if Alvano has the biggest leg in the world, but at least get it to the end zone and make there be a decision. Barney had that one kind of head scratcher where he dropped the ball.
Yeah, and then took it out of the end zone.
Maybe thought he had to once he dropped it.
Yeah, that's a learning lesson.
Hopefully it's just a learning lesson and just a, in the moment kind of brain fart more so than anything to worry about.
His partner told him stop. Oh, whoa.
And he's like, no, I'm going. Yeah, okay, right. So I don't know if that's miscommunication, just not knowing the rule or whatever.
Or he's just excited. He gets a chance to run.
Right. So yeah, special teams does still have work to do, but I think that the Buccini punt and I think the return from Ja'Cory Barney, there's a foundation there. I think there's something to work with.
Well, good. Listen, we don't want to hold up too much time because we have Brian Munson that's lying in wait on the Allo VIP line, and we want to get to him, give him enough time to share his thoughts and what he thinks. And there were some recruits in Lincoln on that big day, so it's going to be good. We want to get to Brian and let him do that. We're going to take a quick break right here on 93.7 The Ticket at ticketfm.com. We are on the block. We'll see you in a minute.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Hi, this is State Senator Carolyn Bozin. Education is a cornerstone to building a strong, vibrant community. I voted for the historic increase in funding for education in the legislature. As a state senator, wife, and mom, I believe Lincoln is a great place to work and raise a family. My husband Reggie and I are local business owners and understand the valuable role of education in our community. This is Carolyn Bozin, and I am asking for your vote on May 14th, paid for by Bozin for Legislature.
Ready to add a dash of Southern flavor to your week? At Wings and Rings, their brand new Southern fried wings have arrived for a limited time. Indulge in the irresistible goodness of large, traditional bone-in wings coated in a crispy beer batter and fried to perfection. Try them with hot honey or any other sauces. And for those busy summer days coming up, look no further than their Southern Fried Wings Family Bundle. Wings and Rings, 2 Lincoln locations on O Street or Village Lane.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and our annual spring sales event is now underway. We have absolutely huge savings right now at Koppel. New Sierras and new Silverados have a double whammy. Choose from APR starting at 1.9% or discounts over $9,000. Yes, that's right, 1.9% APR or discounts of over $9,000. So please take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street just south of the interstate, or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
Do you need motivation to get to the gym on the weekend or even in general? Tune into the Movement Hour each Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Movement Academy owner Robert Kuhlman will host the show as he introduces new ways to stay in shape. The Movement Hour every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs. Do you need your event or venue secured? Call Tank Security Team. Tank Security Team is Lincoln's #1 non-lethal security company. Tank Security Team offers first-class security with efficient and quicker response times. Hire Tank Security Team. No hassle, no headaches. Call Tank at 402-310-3589 and get secured today.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here during On the Block, as Strick mentioned before. We turn our attention to our VIP line brought to you by Aloe Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We welcome in Brian Munson of Husker Online. Before we get into Husker football and the spring game and everything, Brian, we haven't talked much NFL draft today. Of course, that wrapped up over the weekend. Your Bills fandom is noted on this show. How do you judge what the Bills did in the draft?
I was pulling my hair out on Thursday night. I guess Brandon Beane, he seems to he trusts his evaluations, and it was always interesting kind of listen. It was even interesting listening to him last year when they missed on, it seemed like 3 or 4 wide receivers, and Dalton Kincaid was there. They obviously needed a pass catcher. They opted for Kincaid versus taking another guy that they didn't feel like had first round value. They felt like apparently that they could trade out of the first round altogether on Thursday night and come back around and get their guy. Now, Keon Coleman, is a fun guy to talk about. He's a big body receiver. They don't have somebody like that in Buffalo. He's not Worthy, Xavier Worthy that Kansas City traded up to grab, at the bottom of the first. And I think that's going to be really a a comparison that Brandon Beane is going to have to kind of think about for the next couple 3 years. How are the two wide receivers out of the first round spots that he traded down from going to do in comparison to his choice, Keon Coleman, that he picked in the first pick in the second round? Like I said, I think Coleman is a big bodied guy has got a huge catch radius. He's got an unbelievable hands, and Buffalo doesn't have a guy like him. I was a bigger fan for some guys that they took down the list a little bit more, like Cole Bishop. I think Cole Bishop, like the second round pick, and I'll leave it at this. The second round pick speaks volumes of how Buffalo knows that they have to be, better prepared to guard guys like Travis Kelce. He is a defensive back that can match up with a tight end. And Cole Bishop is a long dude. He's faster than Keon Coleman was at the NFL draft. So I thought overall they hit their spots. They did their typical thing where they kind of get into some smaller schools and do some stuff. They took the international pathway program guy with their last pick. And I really liked, honestly, Daquan Hardy, their last pick, the cornerback from Penn State, much higher grade on a lot of people's boards, and probably figures into some sort of a nickel contributor kind of position this fall for the Bills.
On the Nebraska front in the NFL draft, nobody. Again, time in 5 or 6 years. Do you think that's just because of lack of production at the college level, a lack of development over, the last previous staffs? And does that turn around in the 2025 NFL draft?
Well, I think if, look, I'm going to test a theory out here, and maybe your listeners can give you some feedback on it, or they can hit me up on Twitter. I think of the lack of being successful as a team is impacting people's thoughts about players from Nebraska. If you look at the top of the list, look how many players were drafted from Michigan. And obviously that kind of goes hand in hand to being successful and having talented guys, but it happens year over year that happens with Alabama, with Georgia. I think there's some things now that are basically in the back of people's thoughts in the back of their minds of, where Nebraska is kind of currently at right now, what they read about every Sunday morning when they wake up and grab the paper or get up on the internet and check out Twitter and see how Nebraska, didn't fare well again or whatever. I think that there's a negative, stigmatism out there. There's a negative kind of opinion basically of the players that right now, and Nebraska needs to be successful again. They need to go back and give credit back to their players that they have currently on their roster. And I think that's one of the big things that's kind of in the way. But I think it does come back to development. I think it does just come back, though, to overall just being successful.
Talking with Brian Munson of Husker Online here. Follow him on Twitter at Brian Munson _. Brian, the headline of the weekend, obviously for the recruiting, takeaways, I think, is the wide receiver position. Couple of big names in town for the spring game. How much did Dylan Raiola's performance help Nebraska with some of these big name receivers they're going after?
It was huge. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I caught up with Cortez Mills, and I caught up with Emmanuel Choice, and Steve Wiltfong got a hold of Michael Terry, and Dylan Raiola was referred to by all of them. But then again, Raiola, was a host for the top linebacker that was in attendance, Dawson Merritt. Of course, they were all together. So it was Dawson, it was Terry, it was Mills, it was Choice. They were all hanging around together all weekend long. So I think some of the wording that like Emmanuel Choice used, like where he saw, the quarterbacks have been, were so much better this weekend than what they were last year for Nebraska. The fact that Raiola had command of the offense, was throwing the ball around effortlessly as he kind of kept putting it. It didn't get lost. It didn't get lost on those guys at all. And I think, even for like a guy like Dawson Merritt, who's seeing a guy like Shavers playing linebacker as a true freshman after only being in town for a few months, excuse me. I think that also caught like Merritt's eye, and I just released a story on him about it too, because he's feeling like I've got an ability to kind of go in there and take it and earn it. And they all saw, and this is the one kind of the one kind of recurring theme from all of the players that I spoke with, and I think I talked to 6 of the 8. We're still trying to get a hold of TJ Lateef right now. But I think that everyone that has visited this weekend for the official visits, and I think that it was one of the themes that was kind of there even during the unofficials during the spring practices, regardless of what class you are, if you can help Nebraska win, you're going to play. And the players absolutely, and the recruits absolutely love that. And they don't want to have to wait it out until their third year. They don't want to have to, you can't be impactful until you're a redshirt sophomore. That's not the kind of language that they want to use right now. They want to be able to come in, show that they can earn it, and that they can help the team win. And they want to be impactful for the team and the roster right now. So everybody that I spoke to this weekend saw that as a trend for all the young players that were on the football field on Saturday.
One of them that I think is going to be hard to keep off the field, Ja'Cory Barney. Did he fit what you saw coming out of high school on Saturday?
You know what's so wild about Barney is that his stats, and he told me this, like the kid was hilarious to talk to all year long. And he was giving me his stats from week to week to week, and then I told him like what his total stats were, and he was like, "That's trash. That's trash." He's like, "To be honest, that's trash." And in fairness, I don't think that his team had a real great option for the quarterback position. In fact, he had to play quarterback a number of times and actually did a really good job doing it. He's electric. I mean, all the things, when you did catch like some amazing plays like from him, it was undeniable how like he was just, able to kind of just such a creator and flashed so much. So no, it didn't surprise me at all. Like on the touchdown catch, the kickoff return, should have had 2 touchdowns on the day. I think Nebraska fans should be really, really excited about what the future holds for him.
On the recruiting front, then, still sticking with the offense, any developments for Nebraska in the running back room or with any tight ends from the spring game?
I thought that Dowdell really kind of came out and showed that he has some burst. I think that he looked a little hitch in his giddy up, like he's got a little hop along kind of going on there right now. So he might be dealing with a little bit of an injury, but he certainly flashed. I love the fact that Nebraska is creating lanes. I mean, you've got the front edge and you got the cutbacks, and I think Nebraska showed that they can generate some holes in that run game right there, and I think people should feel really good about that. Obviously, the big news I thought of the weekend was Thomas Fedoni, and him having a great game. I think he was the first guy to catch a football from Raiola, cut it up the sideline, and then I think obviously the touchdown catch was another one of those things that just kind of gives you all this optimism, everything that we remember 3 and 4 years ago about all of his potential. It could finally be there for him again this year. He had a solid year last year, but this could be like a national attention-setting kind of year for him. And I thought it was really telling about how he's, come out and gone public about how he's had a number of people reach out to him about possibly transferring. And the tampering that's going on right now, it's incredibly real. I had a parent that I am friends with, that I had developed a friendship with, of a player, reach out to me and tell me before the spring game even happened about how much tampering is such a real thing right now. But it's just the wild, wild west with the NCAA and all the other rules that are kind of going on right now. So I think the NCAA is going to have to figure out really quick how they're going to get around this. But until there's contracts with these guys, I don't know how they can. So it's really interesting to see how they're going to kind of get this thing fixed.
Let's flip gears to defense, Brian. In terms of the visitor list for Nebraska, who are some of the bigger name defensive prospects in town outside of like a Dawson Merritt that you mentioned, and how did some of their visits go?
Yeah, the other Antonio Branch was there. He was the only other defender that was in town. Kind of a guy that kind of was a late addition, Adonis Curry, that was supposed to come in from California, who had visited a couple weeks before, was unable to make it this weekend. He's going to reschedule his visit. He's probably Nebraska's number 1 cornerback. Antonio Branch, even though he's rated as a cornerback by On3, really being looked at to play the safety position by Nebraska. Honestly, I think that at the end of the visit, I think Nebraska was leading for Antonio Branch. I thought Nebraska made up ground with several of the players. I thought John Mills, Choice, Cortez Mills, and even Dawson Merritt, that Nebraska made a significant amount of ground with all of them. I would say that Nebraska was probably trending right now for Antonio Branch. I think Nebraska is really trending, of course, with TJ Lateef, even though we've not really received any type of official word back from him yet in comments about him. It'll be interesting to see when he kind of goes public and what he has to say about the official visit weekend up in Nebraska this week.
A couple more spring game thoughts for you in a minute, Brian, but last thing on the recruiting front, in-state players, how many were there about, and anything noteworthy from players inside the Nebraska border?
Yeah, I had a bunch of stories that I put up like in a thread on Red Sea Scrolls. So if you didn't see anything posted, you need to go back, just look at that. I'm going to start moving those guys out into individual stories. In fact, I started doing that Sunday morning until the official visitors started taking off. But I spoke with Christian Jones. I spoke with Chase Lofton. I'm trying to think who else I kind of caught up with out of that group. But Ike Ackerman, I actually caught up with him too, because I think Ackerman's going to become one of those priority walk-on, kind of players. But obviously he's doing so well right now in track. He's getting noticed to play track too at the next level. I think things are really good with Christian Jones. I think we'll hear probably here in the next day or so, like what his official visit plans are starting to look like a little bit. Chase Lofton, obviously, we know that he'll be back in Nebraska in June for his official visit. I think that he loved the fact that Nebraska did what they did with the tight end positions over the weekend. I think Christian Jones has always seen, kind of a path there, playing the will linebacker spot for Dvoracek. Pierce Newberry was also there. I also did a story on him. I think Newberry is coming in the 21st as well in June. And Nebraska sees kind of Christian Jones and Newberry playing the same spot. They're a little different looking guy. I think Jones has got that little bit better straight line speed. I think Newberry might be a little bit rangier. So kind of an interesting little comparison between those two guys. But I think that Nebraska's been very clear with both of them. They're not done growing, and they aren't sure like where those guys are really going to end up playing because of that. So it's going to be fun to kind of see how, if Nebraska gets those guys, how they kind of get put into the system and where they kind of bounce around and what kind of positions they kind of see some time at before they kind of settle in at one or two.
Brian Munson of Husker Online is our guest. Back to the spring game itself, Brian. Couple things. First of all, the injury to Bly Hill, non-contact knee injury, unfortunate. The name that came to mind first for me was Malcolm Hartzog, who bounced back and forth between safety and corner last year after being primarily a corner his first year. Evan Cooper mentioned that he wanted to keep Malcolm Hartzog at one position that's been safety this spring. Do you think Nebraska sticks to that plan and gives a Mario Buford and Ethan Nation, a Dwight Boodle, Jeremiah Charles a shot at corner? Or is this a situation where it might be easier to find a safety? So you say, oh, sorry, Malcolm, plane's out the window, slide back to corner.
The unofficial channels have kind of stated that the long-term impacts here might only be a couple of months that Bly will be out. So that's the good news. That's the best news probably of the entire weekend. I think that the injury to Nation is going to be Bell. Bell is way different. I think with Bly Hill that you're going to get a guy back, probably a little bit closer to summer. You're going to want to take care of him, make sure everything is strong, and you don't put him back out there in a re-injury occurs. But I think with Demetrius Bell, that's a tremendous blow, because everybody was talking about how he was stepped up, how he was making some moves in the wide receiver room. And after everything that we saw on Saturday, obviously that means a lot, because you had guys making plays with Bonner and Lloyd, and the two transfers were making plays. And it's just to be impactful in that room is really going to say a lot about your abilities. And so obviously huge blow for Bell. I haven't heard same kind of unofficial news or results of like what happened with him and his injury, but sounds like Hill may be back way sooner than what Bell would be.
On special teams, Tristan Alvano 1 for 3. Is that an area Nebraska might be looking to add a kicker? Are they going to let it ride with Tristan Alvano? Think it was just an off day? Where are you at with the kicker situation for Nebraska?
It's hard to ignore, and I really like Tristan, and he's been successful in that stadium in the days leading up to being a Husker, and ever since he's kind of coming to Lincoln to be a Husker, it's been a bit of a challenge to be consistent there, and I think that Nebraska has to get that figured out, very quickly with how, how impactful or how dangerous is it right now if they decide to go ahead and let this thing ride the way that it is. I think that they potentially have some guys coming in or a guy coming in the walk-on group that could possibly, be a challenge, to that situation. I think it's Nico Automanali, right, from New Jersey. I think he's a player that you could possibly look at and say, well, there's at least some competition, to kind of keep things honest here. Obviously, the portal is always going to be an option. I think Nebraska should probably be interested in maybe potentially looking for a long snapper as well. That would probably be an interesting thing to kind of keep an eye on. But yeah, I think kicker is definitely going to be something that Ed Foley is going to be thinking about right now and just kind of peering into the portal to see what else is there.
Last thing for you then, Brian, that field goal that Alvano missed from 43 yards. Obviously, you should be within the makeable range for a college kicker, but I don't think he was necessarily put in the best position to succeed, nor was the offense, because the first play of that drive after the kick Alvano missed from 40, crossing out, Nayor takes it all the way across the field, gets to the sideline. Then Nebraska throws over the middle twice. They don't get the first down on the first one, on the first completion to Emmett Johnson. They don't take a timeout. That's 10, 11, 12 seconds that run off the clock. They get a first down, then take a timeout later in the drive after a 26-yard completion to Jalen Lloyd. But instead of kicking that with 7 seconds left, Nebraska could have had, closer to 20 seconds left to work with. Game management was talked about a lot last year. I was a little discouraged to not see Nebraska, taking its timeouts there. And I'm a little worried that maybe they haven't learned how to best maximize the clock or put their roster in best positions to succeed from last year.
Well, I think that those are really interesting, observances, because I thought, I watched the Michigan game the week before, and, obviously you had the coordinators being the head coaches, and it was kind of interesting in-game management, how they were kind of baking in, the 2 minute warning and the kind of automatic timeout for the game, and how, they were trying to get the other team obviously kick the ball back to them so they have a chance to score. So similarly, you're trying to kind of get down into scoring position a little bit and just needed to kind of manage it better. So I think it's obviously one of those things that Rule is going to want to review. He did mention, in the booth while he was up there in the second quarter about, the 2 minute warning and having that pro experience and, having some ways to kind of use that to your advantage. I think you have to look at that though and fully appreciate the true full scope of it all. I think that what you're saying is a great observation, and it's definitely something that Nebraska has to tighten up a little bit more to make sure that you have a better opportunity to kind of put some points on the board. I think it probably did put Alvano at a little bit of a disadvantage, but still, I think within what should be his range, or what should be the range of most D1 kickers.
It's Brian Munson of Husker Online, joined us here for about 20 minutes. Brian, thank you for spending your time with us this afternoon. I appreciate your work on Husker Online. Definitely want to direct people there. Thanks as always for your time. We'll talk again next week, my friend.
All right, buddy. Be good.
Brian Munson joined us on the VIP line, brought to you by Aloe Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We'll take a final break, wrap up on the block, get set up for Old School after this.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service, We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Service Ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
Gary with Gary Michaels Clothiers Lincoln. I'm here to tell you about our custom shirt program. When you come into the store, we measure your chest, mid-waist, and sleeve length. Enter the measurements in an app, and we create your data fit size. You then try on one of our 99 data fit shirts for the proper fit. After that, pick out the fabric, collar, cuff, placket, and in roughly 2 weeks, your shirts are delivered at the same cost of buying off the rack. And by the way, the neck fits too. Gary Michaels Custom Shirts at 56th and Pine Lake Road, Lincoln.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
There's more time to save big at Bonzall Pool and Spa with their extended Double the Savings sales event. Now through April 30th, buyers can take advantage of up to $1,500 in savings when they purchase a new hot spring spa. Visit the Bonzall Pool and Spa showroom at 33rd and Pioneers or visit their website at www.bonzallpool.com to learn more about this hot sale. Act now because this offer ends April 30th. Bonzall Pool and Spa, every day made better. Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Tune in every Wednesday night from 9 to 10 p.m. for the Malone Radio Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Don't miss the opportunity to learn about the Malone Community Center's goal to eliminate multi-generational poverty in Lincoln and the surrounding area. It's the Malone Radio Show with Executive Director John Goodwin and Sports Director Mike Hunter every Wednesday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
The need in our community, if you just look at the numbers, it's frightening. We're serving over 1,000 kids every day. With the passion of our people, I really feel like our potential to be of even greater service to kids and families who are struggling is just unlimited. But in order to have the greatest impact, we need all the help we can get from the community.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here, summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
NEBCO is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. NEBCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From NEBCO's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
You're spending $300 a month. Binge drinking is the most common form of excessive drinking, which costs the United States more than $191 billion each year. By drinking less, you will save $300 a month. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're wrapping up On the Block. Austin Norman, Erick Strickland, joined by DP. DP, what's good?
Everything is good when you can, your sun's out, got breath, got a roof over your head. There's not a Mother Nature's vacuum pulling the roof of your house off. It's not swinging the train set. There's not a train set. It's actual train.
It's amazing what that power can do, right?
Right. That,
things of size.
Folks lost pets.
Wow.
The folks, wait a minute, my dog was inside. Well, this is what it is. So that if you, in the space, being in the space, it makes you pause and then go, okay. We're thankful for the things that didn't happen, and then we're trying to find a way to help folks get through it. Of course, Red Cross is doing a really good job locally of giving folks a way to help and to simplify the donation. So you can text 90999. Just text the one word Red Cross to 90999. Every text sends $10 to American Red Cross for Nebraska Strong, or you can, Nebraska United. You can go to Big Red Shops and go purchase, and the direct proceeds will go to Nebraska Strong as well. To help folks in the neighborhood and then in the neighboring states that are also going through it. If you did not have to go through it, text. If you know somebody that went through it, text. I'm here. Normally I would make a stop on my walk and get a smoothie. That money went to Red Cross this morning. It was very important in that, I could drink water. I was cool. So yeah, that was kind of the deal. Friday night we were in Omaha.
Y'all were driving through it. Still had 7,000 in the stadium, despite all that going on.
Yeah, that's crazy. Still had 7,000 folks in it. And it was present in the room, right? There was an additional weight in the room. And for athletes who play in that situation, first I understand you had to deal with a teammate who was going through some of this, right? Who couldn't play, whose family was at risk, and who took some losses. And then you realize as a player that you can help lift and elevate and give these folks something to cheer about on a tough day and in a tough situation, right?
Yeah.
And that pro sports thing is difficult on its own, but to carry the additional burden, the Supernova stepped up and gave 7,000 people a reason. The people in the building to just cheer, hug, high five, clap, and then be distracted just for a brief moment before they had to go back out in it and then deal with some real life stuff. So
back and forth match. Got it done though. In 5.
Yeah, it's the thing that they said before the season started that this was going to be, there was parity all over this thing. Right? There's parity all over this league. And then it's going to be a series of 5-set matches that come down to 25-23, 26-24. They told you, listen, everybody's elite. So it's a brawl. Yeah. It's a brawl. And again, Supernovas are down a player. The Grand Rapids team was loaded. Loaded. Man.
This is coming down to the playoffs.
Final Four. So everybody's at somewhere between 18 and 21 games out of 24. Supernovas are at 13-7, 4 matches left, 3 of them on the road. So we're going to leave Friday, go to Florida, Columbus. And again, Columbus had to, not for nothing, but they're loaded. They're loaded. the number 1 draft pick. Miss O'Neill's out there, and she has set them, and then they found some other players around her. Then Atlanta has clinched not only the playoffs, being in the playoffs, but the number 1 seed. But this is a team that Omaha went to Atlanta and swept them. And then Atlanta said, all right, well, we come see you. We'll get even to go through that. And then to get back, Grand Rapids, 10-10. They're in 3rd place behind Omaha. If Omaha beats Columbus on Friday in Columbus, they will clinch playoff spot. If they win 2 of the next 4, they will be the number 2 seed in their own building for the Final Four. Then everybody else is either 7 or 8 wins. 5 teams battling
to get in.
And it could be anybody. Any given night, the rest of them, I mean, Atlanta took its first loss in 3 weeks. They took their first loss a week ago. Everybody can get everybody. Everybody can get it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's strict. It's just funny to me because being around pro athletes, you often forget your mortality and your humanity, right? I'm like, no, the basketball I play in my head has nothing to do with the basketball Strick plays, right? But there's that thing that people feel like, you know what? Relative, I could. No, you couldn't. No, you couldn't. And here's the thing: every night I go hang out with them pro volleyball players, and there's nothing, and I mean no thing that they do in the course of their profession that I can do.
Right.
Nothing.
That's why I hated to play sometimes in the off season where you go like to a Planet Fitness, or you go to any of the gyms when there's some bump going on. Like, my game would change dramatically, DP, for that specific reason of what you said, because in guys' minds, they believe the speed, physicality, all that stuff, they can do what you do. There are some that can. Some of the best players don't even play. So, I mean, DP could definitely tell you.
Yeah, those dudes
some
exist.
Guys, they exist. But at the same time, I don't want to get out there getting hurt, because if I'm driving to the basket, in their mind, they're going to block it. They're going to get it. And then they end up undercutting you or doing something stupid. So this is when I go into, I'm only running pick and rolls and I'm passing. Or I'm either working on setting up, coming off, and shooting pull-ups. I'm not going to the rim. I'm not going to the basket. I might post up a little bit, but guys are reaching, they're hitting thumbs, but that's what you're talking about.
Yep.
Because in their mind's eye, they're like, no, I'm getting him today.
I listen to people in the airport because we travel together, and I listen to people in the airport talk about the team when it walks through, and it is a re-evaluation of a lot of times your manhood. Right? The dudes is just walking over. Wait,
6'5".
Like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. And like, well, no, I could probably still get you could get got.
I bet you could probably palm my head.
You're right, like you could get got. Like going out there and mess with Torrey Dixon, whose daddy played tackle for the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, going out there. Going out there and get at 6'5". Yeah, go and let her work you over. Go up there and try to jump with Stephanie Samity. Go on up there and try to see if your elevator go to her floor.
Yeah.
It don't. It don't. It don't. So it's enlightening and engaging, and it was kind of funny too, because Friday night was at 8:30 first serve, and it was 5 sets.
So it got over 11.
Late. Rico got home at 2:00. We were back here at 7:30. Right? And then you watch Dylan Raiola do a thing that falls in the trio, right? A third of the people were going to say Dylan Raiola is the GOAT the moment they see him. There's a third of people who are never going to be impressed, and certainly is going to require a whole lot more. And then there's that third in the middle that is reasonable, and then we'll look at it and go, okay, he had a great start, and then let's see what he does when it's like not the scout team, right? We understand the arguments, we deal with it. But what we cannot miss is that Dylan Raiola throws it different. He throws it different. It's the moment you watch Casey shoot a jumper, you recognize that, that's not everybody's jumper. Everybody doesn't have that sort of finesse and consistency and groove and be able to do it. Hey, shoot the same rhythm, same form, whether it's 30 feet or 13 feet. He's in that category of different athlete when it comes to throwing the football. And what I loved about it, again, in watching pro volleyball players cut a spike from the pin on the left side and have it go around the block, over a block, down to the floor before a libero can get to it, at inside the 8-foot line at the opposite sideline. And you go, that's not normal. That is not normal.
It ain't luck either.
No. So Dylan making throws, what he did was show you what simplicity should look like. What a simple standard of, hey, if I need to make this throw and hit 6 yards inside of the flag, I'm going to make that throw. If nobody stops me, I'm going to make that throw, which is the thing that has not existed in this space in a very long time.
That was exactly what I said. We just haven't seen it. And I said, DP, I said, what I was looking at is not what the ranges of the people were just looking at. I was looking at his ability to evade and footwork to get to us. Head, we haven't seen a quarterback in that do that. Right. Head downfield for the whole time. And if I need to go get these 3 yards, okay, but I'm still down. And what receivers haven't done is notice that, because I think they've been so used to a Harburg or somebody or he just got drafted. Shout out to him. No, shout out to him. Luke McCaffrey.
Yeah. Oh, McCaffrey, yep.
You know, they've been used to that. When guys put their head down, Adrian, they're gone. They're not looking. So running backs are looking to either block or they're just kind of standing. But these guys were like, let me find a slot. Let me find a spot. Let me move. So this is a whole different dynamic that Nebraska hasn't had for a while. And then I talked about the ability, even though the overthrows, you may think that it's overthrown, but no. He put that ball in the spot to where either my guy's going to get it or it's going out of bounds and I'm not worried about it. We haven't had that type of just accuracy to put balls in a place that is to our benefit most in most of those instances, and not a defense.
It's a different kind of football IQ, right? It's taking a chance, but it's not at the same time.
Well, the educated risk and the well-practiced risk, right? That part. That there was not a throw that Dylan tried to make on Saturday that you looked at and said, oh, that's not a throw he's practiced 100 times.
Even the interception, it wasn't his fault.
Yeah, I mean,
thrown right in the right place because there was somebody inside him. He threw it to the backside. It just went through the receiver's hands.
What I love that he said was, I've got to make a better throw.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, give me the work, right? That tells me, look, he can have a different discussion with the receiver
in the locker room,
in closing the window, right? That's that thing that close the window. Listen, get your head, get your shoulder tacked behind that open vessel that you have, so that if it goes through your hands, it goes to the wall rather than out the window. And as a receivers coach, we practice it. Listen, being a good receiver,
triangle's got to be met.
Well, the triangle, you can do this. but it takes a little more work for me to close
With
the
the body.
window so that I'm behind it. I'm behind it. And there's a difference. A lot of the difference in the receivers is that they are expecting to get fed, and they're expecting to be fed something good. That's what showed up on Saturday.
No doubt.
Hopefully it keeps showing up for the Nebraska football team's sake. I know we'll hear from Jay Foreman in hour 2. What we got hour 1, DP?
Hour 1, I want to talk about Saturday. But 2, I want to talk about revenue and NIL and unions. Buckle up.
There we go. That'll be old school with DP. Stricky, good show.
Yes,
Started
sir.
the week off strong. We will
Started
be
off
back
good.
again tomorrow. Shootout with Strick, 2:45.
Let's get it.
Champ is, I believe,
Still
in
here.
the building. Come dethrone us tomorrow, 2:45. Thanks to Nebco for sponsoring the show. Don't go anywhere. Old school comes your way next. Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready mixed concrete, Husker concrete, and Beatrice concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical, and retirement